This is a recap of The Astronaut's Return, a slow-burn sci-fi mystery where NASA, paranoia, and aliens all share one headache. I'm FlickWreck. Hit subscribe before the lights flicker. So our story begins from somewhere in the middle of the ocean. A helicopter and 3 rescue boats rush toward a floating NASA capsule. Inside is astronaut Sam, freshly crash-landed and possibly done with space forever. They haul her onto the boat and race her to a hospital, where she wakes up dizzy and immediately spots a pen just floating. Yeah, first day back on Earth, and gravity's already giving attitude. When the doctors walk in, the pen drops like nothing happened. Sam mentions it, and they hit her with the classic, "That's normal." Apparently anti-gravity hallucinations are a thing. Her hand's swollen but not broken, probably just bashed during landing. They ask what happened, and Sam explains, "She got strange coordinates from mission control. Everything looked fine, until something hit her crash. She blacked out during free fall, and doesn't even know if she made it down awake." The team later confirms the capsule was pierced by something, maybe meteor debris, and they're now studying the weird particles stuck on her suit. Soon her husband Mark and daughter Izzy visit, but quarantine means glass hugs only. Her father William arrives too, dropping a bomb. The Pentagon's teaming up with NASA because they picked up mysterious frequencies during Sam's re-entry. They're giving her a government recovery house, remote, safe, and paparazzi-proof. Dr. Michelle drives Sam there through miles of nowhere and gives her a tour. The property's an old weapons testing site turned diplomat getaway. There's even a telescope outside, because what astronaut doesn't want to look back at the thing that traumatized them? When Sam tries it, she's hit by a high-pitched screech and flashes of strange memories. Michelle reassures her that's normal, too. Michelle warns her about potential nosebleeds, hallucinations, and mild dizziness, which sounds like a terrible energy drink side effect list. Sam just has to focus on recovery. She's got 2 months until her assessment. That night, Sam checks her bruised hand. The mark looks worse, and then her nose starts bleeding. She grabs a cloth just as her best friend Val video calls. They talk about life, trauma, and how to fake being fine for NASA's medical team. Mid-call, Sam freezes, staring out the window like she just saw Bigfoot paying taxes. She snaps out of it, laughs it off, and keeps chatting, unaware something's actually moving in the dark outside. When the call ends, the house lights flicker. Classic. Sam investigates and finds the back door open, floor wet, and dirt everywhere. She steps outside with the telescope and spots something moving in the woods, but it vanishes, rock in hand, because why not? She throws it toward the noise, not realizing the thing's now crawling on her roof. The screeching returns, along with visions of glowing lights and people walking through a smoky crash site. The next morning, Sam wakes up, bandage gone, bruise spreading. As she's making breakfast, an egg floats above the counter like it's auditioning for Inception 2. She pokes it. It just bounces in the air, completely unfazed by physics. But the moment the medical team arrives, gravity suddenly remembers its job and the egg splats. The team runs more tests, blood pressure, treadmill, the works, and Sam nearly pulls a hamstring pretending she's fine. Dr. Michelle apologizes for the intensity, but promises the data will help science. Later, Sam calls Mark about going on a family trip after recovery. He immediately shuts it down. Not the best time for family vacations when divorce is on the table. He says Izzy doesn't need more confusion, and besides, Sam always ends up leaving for space again. Hurt but desperate, Sam argues she wants Izzy to have the family she never did. We also learn Izzy's adopted, a detail that's sweet and sad at the same time. Izzy pops in with a drawing of the family and a few space people floating above them. Totally normal. Later that day, Sam takes a walk through the forest and hears that same painful screech. She doubles over as more visions slam her. Search teams, lights, chaos. When it fades, she notices a cable half buried under leaves and follows it to a rock with light underneath. Turns out it's fake, a hidden camera. Another cable, another fake rock. Someone's watching. Before she can panic properly, she trips on a root, hits her head, and blacks out. Next thing she knows, she's in bed with a bleeding scalp, and a man standing over her. He says they found her unconscious and brought her back inside. It's her father William again, and he's furious she wandered off. When she asks about the hidden cameras, he admits he kept them secret from NASA because he didn't expect her to snoop around like a horror movie protagonist. He takes her downstairs, moves some furniture, and reveals a hidden door. Behind it, a full underground bunker, built in the 1950s for important people who need hiding. Translation: welcome to Area 51 Airbnb. He shows her rows of rooms, a private power system, even security cameras covering every angle of the property. 3 layers of reinforced metal seal the place during emergencies. There's also a defense system, though William assures her she probably won't need it. Moments after he leaves, the screens glitch. The bruise on her arm looks worse, crawling toward her shoulder. She snaps a picture for Val, who replies, "Put ice on it, you'll be fine." Yeah, thanks, WebMD. Later that night, Sam chills in the outdoor jacuzzi, wind howling around her. Then suddenly, dead silence. She hears something moving in the woods, and just as fast, the wind returns. She runs back inside and calls Mark. Voicemail. The lights flicker again. Sam grabs a flashlight and checks the balcony. Nothing. But when she walks back in, the lights go out completely, and something's standing at the door. A creature. Pale, tall, not paying rent. By the time she blinks, it's gone. Shaken, she activates the house alarm and locks the door. But the AI voice suddenly blares. Security breach detected. Lockdown initiated. Metal shutters slam over every window and door, sealing her in. She grabs her phone. No service. The screeching returns, loud enough to make her clutch her ears. Something growls in another room. Sam rushes downstairs, tries every power switch. Nothing. The doorknob rattles. She freezes. The second she points her flashlight, it stops. Heart pounding, she opens the door, because curiosity clearly kills astronauts, and steps into the dark. A plant by the window suddenly shakes. She drops her flashlight, and when she picks it up, a creepy hand slaps the glass. Sam screams, bolts into the bunker, and fires up the security monitors. Static everywhere, until one screen clears. Outside, the creature crouches on the grass, half visible in the light. Then, blink gone. Hours later, she jolts awake to her phone ringing. William's back, this time with the team. Sam blurts that the generator's malfunctioning and that something was in the house. William calmly says they've already noticed the blackouts and will check the footage. Sam isn't sure what's scarier, the monster or the idea that he'll actually see it. After the last round of chaos, Sam gets dragged into yet another batch of tests. Michelle examines the spreading bruise and finally admits, okay, that doesn't look NASA normal. She books Sam for x-rays, because even she knows this isn't your average space tan. A little later, Mark and Izzy arrive. William takes the chance to play Granddad of the Year while Mark and Sam slip into the woods for a private talk. Sam confesses she saw something not from this world. Maybe, she wonders, she didn't just come back from space, maybe she brought space with her. Mark's still buffering for a reply when Izzy suddenly appears behind them, because apparently kids in horror movies have teleportation powers. Back at the house, Sam and William review the security footage. At the exact time she saw the creature, the cameras glitch like a dial-up modem having a stroke. William calls it stress and tells her to rest, because nothing says comfort like being gaslit by your dad. When he leaves, Sam runs her own scan of the property, and the computer calmly reports 9 people in the house, which matches the family and staff, for now. The next day, the trio goes walking through the woods, Mark actually holding Sam's hand for once. Then Izzy vanishes mid-sentence. They search frantically until she reappears behind them, holding a dead bug like it's a trophy. Suddenly, every insect in the forest starts screeching. One kamikazes into a tree, and the family sprints home like they just triggered a biblical plague DLC. Inside, they watch in horror as thousands of bugs slam onto the windows, blotting out the sun. A few minutes later, silence. Every bug drops dead, coating the glass in sticky residue that looks like alien glue. A cleanup crew shows up, and NASA's on-site rep shrugs it off as an environmental anomaly, which is code for "we have no idea." Sam asks about the lab results from her capsule. Nothing yet. Mark and Izzy head home, but promise to visit again tonight. Then her foot starts aching. She removes her shoe and finds her toe bleeding. One rinse later and she's screaming, because the cut goes all the way up her leg. When she touches it, the nail just slides off like it's resigning. Bandage, ice, panic, repeat. The lights flicker. She barricades the door with a table and Googles bugs plus UFOs, bruises, instantly regretting it when every article features the same marks she has. Feeling a chill, she checks the mirror and discovers the bruise has climbed to her shoulder blade. Another flicker. Another alarm. The AI declares, security breach detected, because why sleep when you can suffer? Mark calls mid-panic, and Sam blurts out, was I a good mother? Which confuses him almost as much as the monster in her living room. Static cuts the call short. She runs for the bunker but collapses halfway down the stairs, screaming as something burns inside her back. She lands hard, touches the wound, and her fingers come away coated in glowing jelly. Perfect. Her phone's shattered, noises echo upstairs, and the computer scan shows one extra life form inside the house. Then the cameras glitch, and there it is. The creature, crawling through her living room like it owns the lease. She shuts the feed, heart racing, as another scan reveals 2 more intruders on the upper floors. She slams random buttons. Smoke hisses from the ceiling as a distraction. In the kitchen, she hides behind furniture, spotting one creature's reflection on the oven door. It moves off, but another enters, forcing her to crouch behind the counter like a space-trained ninja. The second one finally leaves, and Sam bolts to the bathroom, blocking the door with furniture. Her hand throbs. She unwraps the bandage, and her skin is coated in that same alien substance, glimmering faintly. The pounding starts. Walls shake. She hides in the shower, notices a vent, and kicks it open just as the creatures crash in. She crawls into the ducts, squeezing between the walls while the monsters tear the room apart behind her. Outside, Mark and Izzy arrive to find the house in full lockdown. Mark runs in vain to call her. Izzy spots a strange glow in the woods and runs toward it, because apparently curiosity is hereditary. Mark chases her, flashlight cutting through fog. Meanwhile, Sam scrambles through the ducts, but one of the creatures grabs her leg. She kicks free, climbs a ladder, and bursts out of a hatch into the forest. Her wounds are glowing brighter now, like her body's syncing with the stars. William pulls up with a military convoy, commanding soldiers to treat the entity with extreme caution, which is ironic, considering he's the real danger. Sam collapses among the trees, whispering for mercy. A creature kneels, lifts her chin, and speaks. Its words echo in her head and she understands them. Can you hear us? More figures appear, glowing softly. We missed you. Sam stares, trembling, as memories flood back. Her capsule, the crash, her childhood. The truth finally snaps into focus. She isn't human at all. She's one of them. Years ago, her alien family crashed on Earth and were hunted by soldiers led by none other than William. In the chaos, Sam, then a child, used a device to camouflage herself. When William found her, he thought she was human and raised her as his daughter. All these years, her real family never stopped searching. They were the ones who pierced her capsule, trying to bring her home. Mark and Izzy stumble upon the reunion. Izzy stares at her mother's glowing body, terrified. Sam assures her softly, "No one will hurt you." Then William steps from the shadows, gun drawn. He admits he always knew what she was, that her astronaut career was no accident. He groomed her for that mission to lure the others out. He orders Sam to tell them to surrender. She refuses. William aims the gun, but Mark tackles him to the ground, throwing punches like he's been saving them for years. Sam's disguise fades completely, revealing her true alien form, majestic, luminous, and heart-shattering. The soldiers advance. Mark shouts for her to run. Izzy raises her small hand. Sam touches it with a glowing claw. Then she turns, sprinting into the light as her family gathers around her. Moments later, a massive ship rises from the forest, brilliant enough to light the horizon. That was the Astronaut, a story that starts with NASA and ends with ancestry from another galaxy. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because you never know what's really watching from above.